Milarepa, the journey to enlightenment on Mount Everest. Milarepa, one of the most legendary figures in Tibetan Buddhism, is deeply intertwined with the mystery of Mount Everest, a place where both the physical and spiritual realms converge. Born in 1052, Milarepa's life began in tragedy. His family was robbed of its wealth, leading him down a dark path of revenge using black magic. He caused the deaths of many, including close family members, which filled him with deep remorse. Seeking redemption, Milarepa chose the harshest path, extreme asceticism. His spiritual journey led him to the Himalayan peaks, including Everest, where he undertook extreme ascetic practices. He survived only on leaves, and over time, his body turned green, resembling the leaves he consumed. This striking transformation became a symbol of his unwavering commitment to enlightenment. Adventurers who ventured into the Himalayas during that time spoke of a mysterious figure, an ascetic whose body seemed to blend with nature itself. Some believed he was a spirit of the mountain, others a strange apparition. His physical transformation and presence left them puzzled, unable to reconcile his human form with their spiritual understanding. Milarepa's journey was not only physical. Everest became a spiritual battleground where he faced his inner demons. It was here that he struggled to overcome the guilt from his past, his vengeful actions that had caused so much suffering. Milarepa's battle was not against mythical creatures, but against his own deep-seated darkness. The high altitudes and cold winds of Everest were not only external forces, but also the fierce struggles of his mind. His time in the mountains wasn't just about surviving the harsh environment, but overcoming the emotional scars from his violent past. Milarepa's struggle on Everest wasn't about fighting mystical beings or facing the supernatural. It was about confronting the consequences of his actions. His ascetic practices were a way of purifying himself, transcending the negative karma from his past life. And in the cold solitude of Everest's heights, he achieved Buddhahood, transforming himself into one of Tibet's greatest spiritual teachers. The green color of his body, a result of his leaf-based diet, was not a curse but a mark of his transformation. Those who saw him on Everest misunderstood his purpose, thinking he was something otherworldly. But Milarepa was simply a man who had conquered his past, his impulses, and his emotions. His time on Everest was not about surviving the mountain, but about overcoming his inner struggles and achieving ultimate peace. In truth, Milarepa achieved Buddhahood. He did not battle mythical creatures or supernatural beings, but overcame his own inner demons. His story is not one of legends, but of a profound personal journey, a journey that led him to become one of the most revered spiritual figures in history. The UFO phenomenon on Everest, 1952. In May 1952, amidst the tension of the Cold War, a mysterious event captured global attention. Two unidentified flying objects, UFOs, were spotted over the summit of Mount Everest. This wasn't just another rare occurrence, it became an unsolved enigma, sparking debates that no one, not even the scientists of that time, could explain. These UFOs didn't just rock the world, they became part of the enduring mysteries that remain forever linked to the world's most enigmatic mountain. The story begins when a group of Indian pilots were flying over the northern region of Everest. At that altitude, no civilian aircraft had ever flown before, and they were unprepared for the bizarre sight that would unfold before them. The pilots reported seeing two strange objects flying at an altitude of around 25,000 feet. The objects were described as metallic, disc-shaped, gliding effortlessly through the air, unaffected by the fierce winds and turbulent conditions at that height. One of the objects was significantly larger, and both flew in unison, with perfect precision, seemingly unaffected by any natural forces. What was shocking was that these objects didn't resemble any kind of balloon or aircraft the pilots had ever encountered. The crew agreed that whatever they saw, it wasn't a natural phenomenon. Some speculated that it might have been a secret military aircraft, while others leaned toward the possibility of extraterrestrial craft. But the more they talked about it, the more questions arose, and the more mysterious the event became. What made the story even stranger was the complete lack of concrete evidence. Despite the pilots' accounts and the testimony of other witnesses, there were no photos, no radar data, nothing to definitively prove the UFO's existence. Afterward, Military and aviation experts suggested that the pilots might have misinterpreted natural phenomena or even misidentified artificial objects affected by the harsh weather. However, the pilots, seasoned professionals, stated firmly that what they saw was beyond anything they'd ever encountered in their careers. This ambiguity left the story even more puzzling, opening up a slew of unanswered questions. Could it be that Everest, with its towering, otherworldly presence, had become a hiding place for phenomena that humanity still couldn't fully understand? Could these UFOs have been a sign of extraterrestrial activity, something we weren't ready to confront? There were also theories that linked this UFO sighting to other unexplained mysteries surrounding Everest, such as the disappearances of previous expeditions or the strange traces of the Yeti, the legendary creature that has haunted the region for decades. Mount Everest, with its rich history of myths, legends, and unexplainable occurrences, has become more than just a destination for mountaineers. It is also a hotspot for mysteries that science has yet to decipher. The UFO sighting of 1952 is a crucial part of that collection of unsolved enigmas, and it remains one of the most compelling stories in the history of exploration. Whether these UFOs were a sign of extraterrestrial presence or just a freak natural phenomenon is still unknown. The question lingers: will humanity ever find answers to these baffling phenomena, or will they remain part of the unsolvable mysteries tied to this legendary mountain? Everest continues to hold its secrets, and the UFO encounter of 1952 is just one more chapter in its ever-growing list of unsolved enigmas. Discovery of strange objects near Mount Everest. In 2001, a mysterious event caught the attention of the scientific community and adventure enthusiasts alike. Unidentified objects were discovered near the summit of Mount Everest. This event didn't just make headlines for its bizarre nature, it also posed a huge question, not only for science but for anyone intrigued by the unknown. The story began when a group of explorers investigating strange phenomena around Everest stumbled upon several unusual objects near the mountain's summit at an altitude of around 8,000 meters. These objects, while resembling large rocks, had an unusually distinct structure and arrangement. Some of the objects were disc-shaped and flat, almost like flying saucers, while others appeared to be large stone columns rising from the snowy white surface. These structures didn't match any known natural formations. Some members of the expedition believed these could be remnants of an ancient civilization, left behind by a lost culture. They speculated that these objects might even be evidence of extraterrestrial presence. Others, however, suggested a connection to the infamous Yeti, the mythical creature said to inhabit the Everest region. The speculation was all over the map. What made the mystery even more puzzling was the lack of any solid explanation from the scientific community. These objects didn't resemble any known geological formations, and initial attempts by researchers to explain them as natural erosion were quickly debunked. After further investigation, no natural causes were found to explain their presence. This left many questioning if they were remnants of a man-made structure from an ancient, undiscovered civilization. The expedition team took photos and videos of the objects, but without clear proof, they couldn't offer any definitive evidence. Some researchers suggested the objects could be an optical illusion or sunlight reflecting off the snow. However, those on the ground were adamant that these were not natural phenomena, and that the origin of these strange objects remained unexplainable. Everest, with its long history of unresolved mysteries, continues to be a focal point for both scientists and explorers. The strange objects found near its summit in 2001 remain one of the biggest enigmas, with no definitive explanation in sight. Whether we'll ever find out what these objects truly are remains a mystery. Everest isn't just a mountain testing human endurance. It's also a place where untold, unsolved stories continue to unfold. The Pangboke Hand and its connection to the Yeti. In 1951, a strange discovery near the base of Mount Everest captured worldwide attention. A group of explorers in Nepal, while exploring the Pungbacha area, stumbled upon a mysterious object, a massive hand with features unlike any animal they had ever encountered. Believed to be linked to the legendary Yeti, This find sparked a host of questions about the existence of this mysterious creature in the Himalayas. The Pungbacha hand was grayish-black in color, with long fingers and sharp claws. The explorers couldn't explain its origin. Some speculated it was the trace of an undiscovered animal, while others saw it as proof of the Yeti's existence, an elusive, mythical creature long told about in Sherpa folklore. These tales describe the Yeti as a giant living in seclusion in the snow-covered mountains of the Himalayas. After the discovery, the Pungbacha hand was sent off for scientific analysis. However, what makes the story even more enigmatic is the absence of any solid evidence. Though there were numerous eyewitness accounts, no photos or scientific data could confirm the hand's origin. Furthermore, after being sent for research, the hand mysteriously disappeared without a trace, and there were no reports on its whereabouts. Some believe the Nepalese or Chinese government may have seized it for security reasons, but no one has been able to verify that claim. Those who witnessed the hand insist that it was unlike anything they had ever seen on any of their expeditions. However, some scientists suggested the explorers might have mistaken the object for something more ordinary, or that it could have been some natural phenomenon. Despite this, the witnesses stood firm, believing the hand was something completely out of the ordinary and difficult to explain. The Pungbacha hand story doesn't just stand as a strange discovery, it also highlights the ongoing connection between Yeti and the many mysteries surrounding Everest. Over the decades, numerous expeditions have been made to Everest, and a series of bizarre traces, from massive footprints to unexplainable phenomena, have been recorded. Yet, none of these findings have been definitive enough to confirm the Yeti's existence. Although Yeti stories have been passed down through Sherpa folklore for centuries, no scientific theory has yet been able to definitively prove its existence. The mysterious disappearance of George Mallory and Andrew Irvine. In 1924, one of the most mysterious disappearances in exploration history occurred on the slopes of Mount Everest, involving two British climbers, George Mallory and Andrew Irvine. They vanished during an ambitious expedition aimed at conquering the world's highest peak. The disappearance of Mallory and Irvine is not just a personal tragedy, but has evolved into one of the longest-running mysteries, sparking debates among explorers, scientists, and the public about what truly happened to them. Mallory and Irvine's expedition took place in the summer of 1924, when they, along with a British team, set out to scale Everest from the northern route. Mallory, an experienced mountaineer, and Irvine, a young and enthusiastic climber, were tackling a new route never before attempted. Their goal was to reach the summit of Everest, a feat no one had achieved at that time. On June 8, 1924, Mallory and Irvine began their final push for the summit from their high camp, battling extreme weather conditions. The last time they were seen, they were climbing at around 8,500 meters. After that, they disappeared without a trace. The rest of the expedition team searched for them for days, but no signs of life were found. All efforts to locate them were in vain, and Mallory and Irvine were presumed lost forever. For decades, the big question remained: did Mallory and Irvine actually reach the summit before they vanished, or did they fail and meet with an accident on their descent? Various theories have been proposed, but there's been no definitive answer. The mystery took a significant turn in 1999, when a team led by Conrad Anker discovered Mallory's body at around 8,155 meters, not far from where he and Irvine were last seen. However, one crucial question still remains: did they make it to the summit? Researchers noted that Mallory was carrying a camera, which raised hopes that if the camera were found, it might provide vital evidence of their success. Unfortunately, the camera has never been recovered, deepening the enigma surrounding their disappearance. Did Mallory and Irvine really reach the summit before they met their untimely end? Or did they simply fall victim to the harsh conditions of Everest, never completing their conquest of the legendary peak? Whether or not the mystery is solved, the disappearance of George Mallory and Andrew Irvine remains a pivotal chapter in exploration history, raising profound questions about human ambition, courage, and the limits of what we can achieve in our pursuit of conquering the wild, untamed forces of nature. Mount Everest remains a realm of awe and enigma, its icy peaks concealing mysteries that continue to baffle and fascinate. From the haunting story of Sandy Irving's disappearance to the eerie sightings of unexplained floating creatures and the ongoing quest for lost photos that could rewrite history, these tales remind us of the mountain's untamed spirit. As climbers and researchers push its limits, Everest holds tightly to its secrets, challenging humanity's understanding of nature, survival, and the unknown. Perhaps one day its mysteries will unravel, or perhaps, like the summit itself, they'll remain forever just out of reach.